by just having this attitude where we are going to where there is, you know, public transportation and things like that, don't show off. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Hello.
Kamusta? Hello.
Kamusta?
Hello.
Kamusta?
What's your what's your social media?
Bonjour, Melon, ici Philippines. It's a French, very long, diba?
Yes.
Kamusta?
Kamusta?
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Basketball?
Yes.
Okay, see ya. So there, this is an example. Just trying to, you know, have some Filipino expression and stuff like that. It will unlock a lot of stuff. Because... Hello guys. How are you doing? How are you doing? It's your homeboy, Melon. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody's fine. I'm perfectly fine. So I want to kick a quick video before doing my traditional jogging, just to address something that I have read on the internet. I hope the volume is okay because the wing is a bit strong. Just to address something that I have here on the internet, and this is something that if you have been in the Philippines for at least, I don't know, 2 weeks without really someone to guide you, you definitely have encountered that already. Unless probably if you went to the Philippines and you were just, you know, with someone who already masterized the Philippines and everything's here. Because even for some people who are still living in the Philippines, this is still something that is happening to foreigner. And not only the foreigner, but even sometime the local. So, but before that, I just share something with you quick. For everybody here who want to learn French, you already probably noticed that the way that I'm speaking is not really like Shakespeare. It's not really like a master in English. That's the reason. The reason behind that is because that's not my first language. Originally I speak French, and I'm more comfortable speaking in French, by the way. So in case anyone want the support in French class, tutoring, you're preparing an exam, you're preparing, I don't know, trying to go to Canada, anything that you're preparing, you want to go to France, you want to get a job, but you are not good in French, you want to upskill yourself, you have an online platform where you can get the support that you need in French. I mean, we can offer you the support you need in French. You have some qualified teacher there, native speaker, everything perfect, 24/7. You just have to comment in this video, I need help in French, and I'll be the one contacting you. Or you can go to Manila French Tutor and just send a message, I need help in French, and beam, someone will send you a text and will probably tell you what to do in order for you to upskill yourself in French. So let's go back to the reason why I'm doing this video, because that was just a parenthesis. Hey, I was saying, for most of people living in the Philippines as a foreigner, they all come with the same issue, at least for the first 10 days. Or maybe when you will ask them what's one of the experience that was not so nice with the Philippines, they will tell you, unfortunately, the taxi. Some taxi driver didn't make my experience perfect in the Philippines. And my video is to, moving forward, make your experience perfect and show you some tips on how to overcome the problem. So what's the problem? You know, most of the time when you're a foreigner and then you're riding a taxi in the Philippines, well, it can also happen even to local. There are some, it's very important to say some, because not all taxi drivers are doing that, obviously. There are some taxi drivers that sometimes they will give you a ride and they will not put a meter. When I say the meter here, is just a machine in the taxi that will compute the time that you have spent in the taxi and the number of kilometers that you have spent in that taxi. And based on that, they will give you a bill. I mean, you will have a bill to pay. So when they don't activate that meter, basically they can charge you whatever you want. And unfortunately, some foreigners, when they arrive in the Philippines, they are not aware of that. So at the end of the day, what happens is that once you arrive in your destination, the taxi decides to just charge you whatever you feel like you want to charge you. And it's more recurrent when you feel like you don't really know the place where you're going, you're not really familiar with the country. Unfortunately, some are doing that. Personally, it happened to me. I was coming from the airport. I was tired. I wasn't new in the Philippines, by the way. Huh? That's a couple years ago. It happened to me. I was coming from the airport. I just called the driver and then asked him to drop me. Not called. They were already lying in front of the, or in front of the airport. So I just jumped into one and I asked him to drop me at my place. I was like less than 5 kilometers from the airport. There is no way this can be more than 300 pesos, and it wasn't traffic. It was like midnight, so the road was very empty. And when I arrived home, I just thought of, okay, how much the meter is showing, and I realized that the meter was not on. And at the end of the day, he told me that it's 600, sir. What? 600? He told me, yeah, that's the price, I'm sorry. So I was caught off the guard. I could not really say anything, right? So I just give them 600, and at that moment, I just realized that I missed something basic, which is ask the driver to have the meter turn on, so that when I arrive, the price will not be subjective, but it will be based on the meter. The price will be based on the meter. Well, that's not really a learn for me because I was aware of that. It's just that I forget. But for some foreigners, they are not even aware of that. When they jump in the taxi, they don't really sometimes even know how it's going to be priced. And the taxi is just bringing them and say, okay, you have to pay 600, 700, even if you're just a few kilometers. So that's one thing that you should already start doing. When you're getting inside the taxi, please ask him to have the meter turn on. If he's not okay with that, it's fine. Just go down and look for another taxi. And eventually, you will find one taxi who will have his meter turn on. And eventually, when you arrive at your destination, you will not even have to ask about the price because it's going to be showing on your meter. Usually they compute the kilometer and also the minutes, or yeah, the number of minutes that you have spent in a taxi. The combination of all that will probably give the rate that you have to pay. So that one thing, make sure that you're asking them to have the meter on. The second thing that you can also do is to use the application that they call here Grab. Without any advertisement, and they didn't pay me anything. It's just a tip for you guys to have a better experience when you arrive in the Philippines. Ask the driver, download the application that they're calling Grab, and from that application, you can just call the taxi and tell them wherever you are. So it's just a matter of ask to any guard around you, like, hey, where I am right now. They give you exact location, you enter it in your phone, and then the taxi will come pick you up and drop you wherever you put as a destination, final destination on your phone. That one, you will not have to talk or negotiate anything about the money because it's already showing in the phone. Let's say I'm calling a taxi, I want to go to the airport. It's already telling me that, okay, if you want to go to the airport, you will have to pay, I don't know, 250 pesos. And it's standard already. So at that moment, it's also showing you a lot of safety benefit because the driver that you're calling, you have the name, you have his cell phone number, and in case even you lost an item, you can track it because you can simply call the driver, or you can even call the company and they will probably track down the driver that you have called and then eventually find out your item. So that's the second thing that you can use. But for those who are even already in the Philippines a bit longer like me, there is even a way, because Grab is a little bit expensive compared to the taxi sometimes. That's also the reality with Grab. It sometimes can be a little bit more expensive, but not that much. But definitely in general, it's a little bit more expensive. So for those who are already in the Philippines a bit longer like me, actually I was saying you can even find way more cheaper mode of transportation, like Jeep, for example. Jeep, I usually say that to my friend, I think it's one of the cheapest transportation in the world. I don't know, I didn't go through the whole world, but from the place that I already went, I haven't seen something cheaper than the Jeep. Even in my country in Africa, Jeep is still cheaper. So you can literally move with 20 pesos from one place to another place. So it's just telling you how cheap it is. Yes, it's a really popular way of transportation. If you want to really put a class on it, you can call it low class if you want, but for me, I don't really mind. As long as it can bring me to my destination, for me, I don't really consider it as low class. It's just the result that I'm looking for. And aside of that, maybe something that new foreigner coming in the Philippines should also know is that stop looking too different from the common people. You know, try to mix yourself in the society. Try to, you know, not show so much difference. Of course, you're different because of the culture, your color of skin, and things like that. But let's say you're entering a public transportation like a jeep. You don't have to show off your phone. You don't have to show off your jewelry, right? Just acknowledge that you're also in the very popular transportation and maybe cheap, so you can also encounter all type of person inside. So you are not alone anymore like in the taxi. That's also the reason why it's cheap, right? So just be mindful of your item, and I think you're going to be okay. For me, so far, I'm riding that when I go to the market, I need to pick someone and I'm maybe late, or even sometimes I don't have a budget. Why not? I just ride a jeep. So you have a jeep, you also have a bus actually. The bus have some specific destination that you can ride. You just have to ask someone around you if there is a bus who can pick you up from this destination to another destination. And it's also quite cheap. Probably with 30 pesos you can move with the bus, sometimes even less. You can ride the bus, and there is aircon inside. It's, you know, you are pretty much comfortable also. It's just that, unlike the taxi, you are not alone inside. So this conversation about losing a lot of money in the transportation in the Philippines, yes, it's happened, but I think it's because definitely, if you take a look at it, we will not really stop people to, you know, do whatever they want to do sometime. Unfortunately, he has his taxi, he decided, okay, I'm going to put the meter like this or like that. What can you do? So now, what are you doing to avoid that? So there comes Grab, there comes the bus where the rate already fixed, there comes the Jeep where the rate also pretty fixed, because the who are driving the Jeep, he's not really asking you that much, and it's very cheap, and he's not even asking you to give him too much. He just tell you that it's 12 pesos, 15 pesos, and it's a big surprise that cheaper it is, more honest they are when it's come to the transportation. Honestly, the Jeep driver are really those people that when I see them drive, they get a very little amount, but they always make sure that even if it's 1 pesos that they need to give you back, they will give you back your 1 pesos. But sometimes when you're riding a taxi, they will tell you that they don't have a change, they don't have this change, even if it's 20 pesos sometime, they don't have it. So you can ride taxi, but just be mindful to make sure that the meter is on. If you're not comfortable ride taxi and I scare you too much in this video, which was not the purpose, make sure you have an application where you're calling Grab. If you don't want to call Grab because maybe you don't have a SIM card, you are not ready and all that stuff, you can still ride a Jeep, but just make sure that you don't expose too much your stuff, because like in any part of the world, if you expose too much your stuff, eventually you're attracting a lot of attention around you. And if you're attracting a lot of attention around you, it's not only good people, but you can also attract dangerous people. Okay, so yeah, I hope this one help you to maybe moving forward, having a better experience. And also one last thing is, hey, really try to, I think I said that earlier, but I just want to make sure that I'm emphasizing, to mingle in the society. Make sure that you mix yourself with people as much as possible. Do not stand out of, you know, the mass. Do not. Try to be as much as possible like everyone. Try to know the code. Try to know how to break barrier. You can just well, you, of course you're new in the Philippines, but just by saying hello kuya, this is a way to tell him that, hey, I'm, you know, kind of familiar with the language, with some expression here. Just entering a taxi, Grab, whatever, you say kamusta kuya, it's good. You know, you're just showing that, hey, I'm not so foreigner like you think, right? And maybe from there, his perception from you, or his perception that, the perception that he has toward you, can already be a little bit different, right? Because you also have those who arrive here, they are really disconnected from the part of the world where they are currently. You know, if, I don't know, if in his country, he walked with a cell phone and his jewelry all over the place, when he comes here, or when he go to another country, same culture, he starts working with the phone and jewelry all over the place, right? He doesn't try to understand first the culture or the place where he's currently, in order for him to be to adapt himself, and then later on go back to his normal, you know, environment, if I can call it like that, and go back to his old habit. So yeah, I know that's an experience that most of people have here when they arrive, and it's not only for foreigner, by the way. Some Filipinos also are sometimes victim of that, right? So it's just that we need to adapt and just make sure that we are doing our part, which is, you know, make sure that things are there before we start going with the driver. If not, then it's like in the market. You're just free to say, sorry, I got on, I'm going to look for another mode of transportation. So if I forget something, or if you guys have another tips that you want to share, or another perception or perspective that you think of, please leave it in comment. It can inspire me, it can give me some idea, it can give someone else an idea. Maybe a foreigner is watching this one, he can read your comment. That's the purpose of this video. So thank you for watching, thank you for liking. We keep growing, especially keep subscribing, and take good care of yourself. Ibala.